You need to decide right now, what is the meaning of enough to you, so that you feel like enough. What would enough mean for you to feel like enough? What would too much feel? What would that too much feeling need to be, so that you know that too much feeling and you are enough? What is that definition? What is that meaning? What is that word? What is that thing? What is it to you that makes you feel like enough? One of the biggest lies that we have been told as a society and as individuals is the thought of, if I leave, it doesn't matter. If I disappear, it doesn't matter. It won't matter. When in reality, it's the exact opposite. This specific thought process comes from this whole thought of, I'm not enough, or I'm too much, or I'm this, or I'm that. That specific thought process of, if I leave, if I disappear, it won't matter, is that constant nagging feeling that everything I'm doing is never enough. But let me make one thing clear. If you disappear, you do matter. One of the biggest things and one of the biggest heartbreaks as a society and as humanity is that we will never know how much we were loved. We will never know how much people loved us. We will never know how much people cared for us secretly. We will never know how much people liked us, how much people had a crush on us. One of the biggest misconceptions in this life is that we'll never know how much we are loved. And I want you to know that you are loved. Even if it might not be from the exact people that you want to be loved, who you want the love from, you are loved. One of the biggest things that we as humanity does is we shy away from love. We shy away from expressing love because that causes a certain level of vulnerability. It causes a certain level of discomfort to express one's love, to express how much you love a person. And that expression that is continuously given isn't given to everyone because people are shy. As a whole, people are incredibly shy. One of the reasons why I know we as a society are incredibly shy is because we want to fit in. We don't want to be different. We don't want to be weird. We don't want to be the outsider, the outcast. And when we realize that we are the outcast, we feel unloved. We feel unwelcome. We feel like we're not supposed to be here. You are meant to impact so much people. Your impact can be so motherfucking amazing, can be so motherfucking huge if you allow yourself to understand that you are loved in every interaction, in every circumstance, in every mishap, in every mistake, in every joy, in every happiness. You are loved. There's always something that will love you. When I talk to certain people, or when I talk to strangers and I get in my head, I continuously remind myself that I am loved and I matter. I am loved and I matter. I am loved, and no matter how this conversation goes, I am loved. We need to remind ourselves that we matter and we are loved. We need to remind ourselves of the huge impact that we give to people. We need to remind ourselves that if we leave, we do matter. You do matter. Don't let anybody make you feel otherwise. Don't let anybody make you feel like you don't have a shot at life because you don't matter. You do. You ever had that one? I just want to give this, right? Think of society as a gigantic puzzle. Now think of the fact that when you made this big puzzle and there's that one piece missing, would you get frustrated? Just imagine it. You're building this 1,000-piece puzzle and you're working. And as you finally get to the last piece is missing. Because you threw it away. You threw away that one piece you thought didn't matter. So you threw it away. And when you finally get to build the puzzle, you're constantly struggling for that one piece. You're constantly struggling for the one piece that you threw away because you thought it didn't matter. The one piece is you, my darlings. That piece that you threw away, that piece that you think doesn't matter, when you're building that 1,000-piece puzzle, that piece is the one piece that is going to make the frustration ease. And that is how you are. That is who you are. Even if you're only there to help the frustration of as a society, even if you're one small step eases someone's life, frustration, happiness, Baba, you would change lives by just stepping into the room. You do matter. You continuously matter. And if anyone hasn't told you this in your life, you are loved and you matter. Because you are that puzzle piece in a gigantic scheme of things. There's 1,000,001 puzzle pieces, and you are one. And you not being there disrupts the whole flow. And when we're talking about topics like me not being enough, or I'm too much, or I'm not enough for this person, I'm not enough, you have to decide what enough is. You have to decide what enough means. Being enough is just what is required of. What is required of the circumstance, what is required. And you have to decide upon yourself what is required. What do you want? What is the circumstances to which it is required for you to be you? What is the circumstances that is required for you to be enough? Think about that. You have to redefine what enough is. Your enough is not what your mom, your dad, your sister, your dog. Your enough is none of that what them say. Enough is what you decide. What you decide is enough for you. You are enough if you decide right now that you are enough. That you're showing up every day by you existing, breathing, and living here. If you decide right now that is all that is required of you and that is enough for you, you have lived. You have lived. You are enough because you decide that you're enough. You decide how much is too much. You decide how much is enough. I want to say this. The rules are made up. The definition, the meanings, the words, they are all made up and you get to decide. You put meaning to everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. You put meaning to everything and you need to decide right now what is the meaning of enough to you. So that you feel like enough. What would enough mean for you to feel like enough? What would too much feel? What would that too much feeling need to be so that you know that too much feeling and you are enough? What is that definition? What is that meaning? What is that word? What is that thing? What is it to you that makes you feel like enough? Decide now what the meaning of enough is. Decide now the definition of what enough. Decide now of what you think enough should be. What enough should look like. For me, enough was just allowing myself to exist and be a human being. That was my definition of enough. My definition of enough for any and everybody, and even for myself, was that if I am allowed to exist, if I have been given the privilege to exist and to live and to grow and to breathe and to wake up another day, I am enough. If I exist, I am enough. If I am being, I am enough. If I am present, I am enough. That is all that matters to me. That if I could take a second to do this, I am enough. Decide now what that meaning is to you, because you do. The definitions and the meanings of things has been given to you, and you need to decide now and take responsibility for the fact that everything that you said, everything that you've done, your meaning matters more than your mom, your dad, your friends, society. What is required of you and what do you think is required of you? For me, my requirement was just being present. My requirement is that I am alive. Because let me say this, let me give you a perspective to look upon. Do you look at a baby and say this baby doesn't deserve love? Do you look at a baby and say this baby is not good enough to receive this? Do you look at a baby and say this baby is not good enough to receive milk? Do you look at a baby and say this baby is not good enough to receive love? A baby is the purest form of what you were. Even now, I fully believe that we are all little girls and little boys in baby form, crying, saying that we want love if only we allow ourselves. Look at yourself as a baby. Look at the babies around you and tell me, do these babies ever wonder if they need do these babies ever wonder if they are enough? Look at the babies and wonder, when you look at this baby, do you think this baby does not deserve love? The purest form of humanity, a baby. Do you look at the baby and say, does this baby deserve love? Is this baby enough? Is this baby too much? So far less for you who have lived. A baby is the purest form of human life. But one of the things we refuse to acknowledge is that we all have problems. We all have trauma. We all have things that we need to work through, our attachment styles, or this or that or that. We all have things that we need to work through. So far less for you, my hurt little girl and little boy. Far less for you that needs that love right now. I know that it's hard. It's always hard to give yourself that love that you did not get. And it's always hard to come to terms with the fact that the people that you love could not give you that love. But darling, you need to decide right now, what is good enough? What is good enough? What is too much? What makes you happy when you define good enough and too much? What is that thing, that definition that lights up your soul, that makes you feel like I am enough? I am good enough. I have done enough. I have said enough. I have done all I could. I'm not telling you to look at your potential, because too much times we get wrapped up in our potential, what we could and could not be. Too many times we get wrapped up in our potential of what enough looks like and what our best looks like. Your best is exactly how you show up now. Your best is what you put your all into. If all you could do is put your all into is waking up out of your bed and bathing, that is enough. Your best is what you decided to be. If all I can do is wake up and I'm sad, I'm depressed, and if all I can do is wake up and watch the wall, that is enough for me, and that should be enough to you. My darling, my love, redefine what these words mean to you, because enough, too much, love, all these different words are what you decide to give it meaning. I remember I was thinking about, if meaning doesn't really exist because we have to give it meaning, is there any type of solid ground? It's solid because you trust yourself enough. It's solid because you decide that. It's solid because you decide to be loving, kind, and generous, and loving and enough in your own right. It is enough. Whatever meaning you decide is valid enough for you to exist. Because you operate in life and you change life as you see fit. Darling, you are the author of your life. You are the creator of your life. You are the bender of your life. And if you decide now that the meanings that you have been given life, the meanings that you have been allowing life to give you, and if you decide I am not going to allow life to just give me any and every meaning, I'm going to make my own meaning now, my darling, it does not matter. It does not matter. The meaning that you give it is the only valid meaning there is. The meaning that you give it is the only valid meaning. And if you don't know the definition of what you want to place, look for it. Look for books, podcasts, ideas. Look for the things that spark your soul. Acknowledge the things that make you go, oh, aha. Acknowledge the aha moment. Write it down if you have to. Memorize it if you have to. Because those exact moments is the answers you've been looking for. If only you allow yourself to taste it long enough, to savor it long enough, to realize my life is my own. My life has always been my own. I love you, my darlings. It's been lovely speaking to you. Bye.